today's show. Baratunde Thurston is back as co-host, and he'll be sitting down with Black Dynamite himself, Michael Jai White, to get the latest on the new animated series. Then Tiffany Smith sits down with the cast of Total Recall, including Colin Farrell, Kate Beckinsale, Jessica Biel, and Bryan Cranston. Also, it looks like Amazon Instant Player is coming to the iPad. I'll have the details in the feed. And in What to Watch, we sit down with the critics from Entertainment Weekly and Badass Digest to check out Marvel Comics' All-Winter Squad and Life Force. Sit back and relax. Attack starts now.
Welcome to Attack of the Show. I'm Baratunde Thurston.
And I am Sarah Underwood. We are coming to you live.
Welcome back, Sarah. We missed you yesterday.
Thank you. Well, I was here, but I wasn't here.
Yeah, welcome
so
back
it's
to
good
the
to
top.
be here
Yes.
again. And we're trying to bring back Sarah Tunde.
Yes, so you know what that means, Twitter. Let's trend this.
Do it. Hey, we got the weekend coming up here pretty
Yes,
soon.
we
It's hump
do.
day.
Yes.
I hear you have like a fun movement for the weekend.
Yeah, so when I was back at The Onion, we created this organization, this religious movement, this global grassroots opportunity for change called Whiskey Friday. And people get confused sometimes. They ask me, what's involved in Whiskey Friday? And it's pretty complicated.
Okay.
Basically, on Friday, drink whiskey. That's it, preferably at work.
Yes.
And then you shout about it online, on Twitter, on Facebook, or whatever. Any kind of whiskey will do. Bourbon, Scotches, Irish. There's no particular bias.
And you just tweet Whiskey Friday.
Yes. No, not the word, just Whiskey Friday.
Whiskey Friday.
Just Whiskey Friday.
What if you don't like whiskey?
Why wouldn't you like whiskey?
I had a bad experience with it. Let's just
Really?
Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. Are we really going to leave it at that?
We're gonna leave it at that. Time now. Let's take a deep breath all together.
All right.
And see what's bubbling up on the web.
We're going to go around the net.
Hey, are you tired of the Olympics?
How about some golf?
Go.
Yeah, that video would actually make me want to watch golf. How many points do you think that he'd get for that?
I think you get negative all the points for that. Hopefully you also get a fancy jacket and to sound like Chewbacca. One of the things that makes a man a real man is knowing how to use your tools.
Yeah, and this guy, he's an expert.
Hello, and welcome to Bob's Workshop. I'm your host, Bob Jacobs. Today we're going to learn how to build a bookshelf. First, you're going to want to find a large piece of wood. So the next thing we're going to do is measure out exactly how long we want our bookshelf. As you can see, I'm using my penis as a measure because I know exactly how long it is, 3.4 inches. I think we're going to make this one about 13 bobs long. How about that, little Bob? Now it's time to cut the wood. If you don't have a pencil to make the marks, just rest your penis on the board. Then just hammer the brackets into the wall using your penis. And then you're all set.
Now this may come as a surprise, you guys, but he can't go to Home Depots near churches or schools.
And the thing is, I've got an extra special complaint about this clip. This bob is not a standard unit of measurement. Quality woodworking is affected by things like temperature, humidity, and it doesn't look like he's accounting for tongue and groove measurements. He's a total amateur.
Really? I don't know anything about woodworking. Like, the temperature and stuff matters, huh?
Everything matters when it comes to
Good to know. Okay. Well, sometimes the internet gives us a video of a man achieving his dreams.
I hope you're ready for the double rainbow of trains.
Yeah, listen to that bell. Oh, take a look at that. Oh, my God! Woo! Listen to that horn! Oh, my God! she's beautiful. She is beautiful, yeah. All right. Oh, my, oh, no, it's a BL2, too. Oh, the SNC 52. Oh, my God. Oh, we're going to watch this. Oh, this is special. Oh, that horn gives me the chills. Oh, and the chills have absolutely nothing to do with how cold it is here. Oh, but that doesn't stop a foamer. Oh, especially when it comes to heritage equipment. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Blue and gray.
Double Trainbow all the way!
Oh, heritage equipment train lovers. Now Chick-fil-A has a new group to hate.
Remaking a classic Arnold Schwarzenegger film is a very dangerous undertaking.
Then again, so is having your mind wiped. Tiffany Smith investigates.
You ever get that overwhelming feeling of, I've seen that before, only it's not how I remember it? It's not deja vu, it's Total Recall. What do you think makes this story of Total Recall stand out from the original?
The original had such a kind of absurdist sense of humor to it. All the one-liners, the bright colors in it, the violence even had a certain maddening humor to it. And in this one, I think it's played more as a straight drama.
That's him!
What do the fans of the original have in store for this ride?
Very different movie with some rather respectful waves to the original. Obviously, we don't go to Mars in this movie, and nobody's Austrian, and there's a lot of things that are different. What the hell is this guy, sir?
Take me off display.
There are some incredible catfights in this film. So who has a better left hook, you or Beckinsale?
I have a very good left hook. I don't know about Kate's left hook. I think she has a pretty solid right jab.
You and Jessica have some super intense fight scenes. Now that you've seen what she can do, would you think twice about messing with her?
Hell no. No, of course not. Totally go again.
You might want to give your little girlfriend a kiss goodbye. As long as she doesn't mind where those lips have been.
If Recall were a real place, what would be your ideal memory implant?
Don't have one. Boring. Isn't that dull? My ideal memory implant, I'd like to go to Antarctica and see the penguins. There you go.
Wait here! Federal police!
So I'm just gonna throw 2 memory implants out there for you. Pick one. The first, you would be a doting father of 5. The second being a science teacher turned drug kingpin.
I think a doting father of a drug kingpin. I think that sounds good.
You're just gonna go with option C?
I think that's yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
What's your take on the whole third boob? What's your stance?
I would love a third boob.
You would?
I would be psyched to have a third boob, wouldn't you?
No.
No?
It's hard enough to find clothes that fit right, not getting things altered. Everything would have to get altered. You couldn't wear what you're wearing right now. I mean, I guess you could.
That's true. This would not be the right shirt for a third boob.
Do you think that the whole third boob should be something that plastic surgeons are offering?
God, no. No, that should strictly stay in 2 dimensions.
You seem like you're looking for something. Is it this? You're gonna wish you had 3 hands.
Action hero, Space Odyssey, or 3 boobs? Total Recall. You dream it up and they'll make it happen.
And now, here's some stuff you should know. The Avengers and The Dark Knight Rises raked in over $1 billion at the box office. But what you may not know is that the folks who created those comic book characters aren't actually luxuriating in Tony Stark's mansion or swimming in Scrooge McDuck-style piles of coins, which, by the way, is hugely unhygienic. Anyway, take the case of Jim Starlin, the guy who created the mysterious, shrouded villain of the Avengers movie, Thanos. And if you're pissed that that's a spoiler, it's because the movie came out in May. You should just get over it, you lazy bastards. Even elderly people have torrented it by now. Anyway, Starlin claims that not only was he not paid for his cosmic character's inclusion in the movie, he only found out Thanos was in the film when other people saw the Avengers in the theaters and then told him about it. That's kind of like having your best friend call you up and go, dude, I just saw your girlfriend, and she's making out in space with Loki behind your back. On the flip side, Chuck Dixon, one of Bane's co-creators, just went on the record to say that he is quite happy with his compensation from Warner Brothers and will indeed see money from the final Dark Knight movie, though even he probably couldn't understand half of what Bane was saying.
I'm Gotham's reckoning.
Either way, the big screen success of Iron Man, Batman, and Spider-Man has prompted a handful of high-profile comic book pros like Action Comics writer Grant Morrison to announce that they're leaving the big publishers like Marvel and DC to focus solely on creator-owned work. And while there are no guarantees of independent success, we can all agree that the Walking Dead guy has done pretty well for himself. So look, take care of the folks who created your characters, or you might not wind up with any new ones. And by the way, massive publishing conglomerates, you can't have my comic book idea, because I'm keeping the Sarah Tunde squad for myself. And now, we have to talk about Pussy Riot Behind Bars. It's not a vintage lesbian prison title from Roger Corman. No, Pussy Riot is a female punk collective in Moscow that performed an impromptu protest set in a Russian Orthodox cathedral against the return of Vladimir Putin. The state has charged them with hooliganism. Yeah, hooliganism. That's what England calls a national pastime and what America calls YouTube. Pussy Riot has been languishing in jail since January, awaiting trial, which is only now getting underway. And the stakes are pretty high. The peaceful protest may earn Pussy Riot up to 7 years if they're found guilty. Their predicament has sparked a global outcry from the usual suspects, including Madonna, Peter Gabriel, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Where's Bono in all this? Can somebody please do a welfare check in Ireland for this dude? Unsurprisingly, Sting is also lending his voice to the worthy cause. And if you have a situation of protest, just go to Sting's website and download this form. Hello, my name is Sting, and I am very concerned about blank. We take free speech for granted, but in Russia, people actually still have to fight for their right to peacefully protest. Putin was once a celebrated figure in Russia, but stories like this may be weakening his nearly dictatorial grip on power. And I think I have an idea that can help both Russia and America. How about a prisoner exchange program with Putin? He gives us Pussy Riot, and we'll send him Nickelback and a band to be named later. Creed. American swimmer Michael Phelps now holds the all-time record for Olympic medals. Credit goes to his abnormally long torso and the $15,000 sleeping chamber he uses, which mimics altitudes of 9,000 feet. The chamber was installed last year and allows Phelps' lungs to get used to breathing less oxygenated air, so that when he comes back down to our mortal plane, his body has access to more fuel. Phelps isn't the only Olympian using technology to improve his performance. Sprinters track their gait with high-speed HD Phantom cameras, weightlifters use intense hydrotherapy to help muscle recovery, and some teams even employ psychologists to help group dynamics, which all make your cool little Nike Fuel band, me too, look pretty lame in comparison, don't they? Slate recently ran a piece asking if today's modern Olympians are as tough as the actual ancient ones were, and I've got to say, I think the answer is no. Ancient Olympians had to contend with opponents who would cast hexes on them, try to break their fingers in competition, or use the then legal wrestling move known as the anal gouge. Yeah, and that's not even counting the 36-mile march to open the games or the constant threat of centaur attacks. Even though America kind of sucked at basketball back then, the ancient Olympics still would have been fun to watch, and the only synchronized event was public sex. Still ahead, John Bradley from Wired stops by to talk about sports tech. Go, go, bionic legs! All right, before the break, we were talking about sports tech, and now we've got the inside line with Wired's John Daly. Well, John Bradley. So sorry. How are you doing, John?
All right, how you doing?
So we've been talking a lot about sports technology, about athletes, doing a lot to improve themselves and comparing the past to the present. How are athletes today getting closer to the future with the use of technology in their sports and in the Olympics?
Well, there's a lot of stuff happening with coaching, a lot of ultra slow motion cameras, tracking anything from hurdlers trying to get a centimeter closer to the hurdle, to swimmers trying to get one more angle of degree of entry into the pools. There's a lot of motion capture stuff that is giving those little tiny increments that they weren't getting before. And then there's also in the performance side, it's always who's got the best suit, who's got the most aerodynamic clothes, and that stuff's always evolving as well.
I want to talk about the suit side of things. Polymer swimsuits were banned after so many records were broken back in the 2008 games. What are the rules now? What textiles are allowed? Which ones aren't allowed? How do they even decide?
The rule is that it's got to be a water-permeable textile. Last time they were basically plastic suits that let them kind of float through the water. They were in an air bubble. It was cheating. Now you're back to the textiles that let water go through. And, it's basically just like a really high-performance girdle, but a really, really high-performance girdle for kind of like Spanx for people with muscles.
Spanx for the buff. Awesome. I love that.
Exactly.
Can you tell me about the power meters that cyclists are using?
Yeah, this is, it's an absolute measure of power at the pedals. A lot of people train with heart rate monitors, which is kind of nice, but your heart rate kind of responds sort of slowly to efforts, and it takes a while to slow back down once you're recovering. It can be affected by caffeine or how cold you are or whatever, but power is absolute. So if your coach says, I want you to do 15 minutes at 172 beats per minute pulse, that's kind of hard, but they can say, do 15 minutes at 340 watts, and it's an absolute measure. So there's not a professional cyclist out there who's not training and racing with the power meter.
And we're starting to see some different looks on cyclists this year. I love riding a bike myself, and I've seen in my helmets they generally got more holes in them to allow more venting. But this year it seems like venting is out and something else is in. What's going on with the cyclist helmets?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like this Bob the Builder look. It kind of came out of nowhere. I think the idea is that the vents were getting bigger and bigger to get more cooling, and they're finding out that they weren't, they cool you, but you're cool enough without the vents because you still got air kind of going up underneath and getting sucked out the back. And by plugging those vents, you can save, I think, like 17 seconds over 25 miles if you're racing at like Tour de France speeds, which is huge. So, they're a little bit warmer, not that much, but they're quite a bit faster.
I remember a few years ago getting to visit a lab at Stanford for a show about the future, and they had this amazing body cooling technology that went far ahead of vents over your head. It was a super cooling glove. You stuck your hand in it, and it really chilled your body out, allowing you to recover so then you could perform faster, more frequently. Are athletes still using that? Do you know what the status of that recovery technology is?
Yeah, that's still out there. I've heard of NFL teams experimenting with that. It's pretty effective. It'll cool you down in about 5 minutes because you've got so much blood going through your hand and there's so much surface area that it cools the blood as it's passing through there, and it cools you down pretty quickly. There's also, I know a lot of endurance athletes, when they're warming up, will wear an ice vest that kind of lowers their core temperature. Because once your core temperature gets to a certain point.
Ice vest.
Yeah, it's like, like you have those gel packs in the freezer that you put on a sprained ankle or something. It's basically that in a vest. And you wear that when you're warming up, and then your body temperature is actually lower so you can perform better before you overheat.
Yeah.
And then there's also something I think is really cool is this company called Osmo has come out with a recovery drink that you take right before bedtime that lowers your body temperature to help you sleep better, which, athletes kind of, after training, their bodies run kind of hot. They have a hard time sleeping. So there's all kinds of ways to get your body temperature down.
And I want to go back to the body monitoring side of things. A lot of people, including myself, are using these Nike Fuel Bands and Fitbits and other technology which gives us data about ourselves. Where's the more advanced stage of that for the performer athlete?
They're cramming so many sensors into these now. It's kind of like if you look at 10 years ago what was on racks of hardware in a sports science lab. Now you can wear that on your wrist. They've got sensors that measure kind of electrical currents running through your skin to see the resistance, which can give them data on caloric burn, body temperature, sweat rates. They've got infrared lights that flash through your skin to check your pulse. So they can collect like 5,000 to 10,000 data points per minute. And then they've got algorithms that scrape all that data and check how you're performing 24/7. So they're really pretty remarkable. And it's, in a watch, you've got stuff that professional athletes couldn't have 10 years ago.
And is there one monitoring system you'd recommend over others for us non-Olympians?
There's one that was announced in January that I'm still waiting. I saw prototypes. It's called the Basis Band, and it's pretty fantastic. It's got 5 sensors in a watch, and the amount of data that comes out of this thing is just overwhelming. Actually, I think the trick there is wading through that data to pull out the useful stuff, because it just collects so much about what's going on with sweat rates, heart rate, body temperature, temperature flux. I mean, it's stuff that I don't even understand. but it looks really cool.
Looking cool was something we're all into, maybe a bit too much from time to time. Thank you so much to Wired's John Bradley. And now over to Sarah.
Let's start the feed.
All the news you need to know.
It's Wednesday, August 1st, and here are your top stories. Today, Netflix is shaking in its boots because Amazon Instant Video has just arrived on the iPad. Yeah, the new app allows access to streaming video for Amazon Prime subscribers, as well as access to their huge video-on-demand library. Users can also tap into their watch list queue and follow any shows they subscribe to with a season pass just one day after it's aired on TV. Now, the app is free to download, but you're going to need to subscribe to Amazon Prime to unlock all of its features, which is just $79 for the entire year. Not bad. Unfortunately, it's not compatible with the iPhone or iPod Touch yet, but let's not kid ourselves. We all know it will be available on all devices sooner rather than later. So, now, the future of medicine has arrived, and it's a little scary. The FDA has approved an ingestible microchip to monitor people's intake of medications. It comes from the minds at Proteus Biomedical, who created the tech using science similar to those weird potato batteries we all made in elementary school. Remember those? Well, the chip is made of magnesium and copper and works when your body's natural digestive fluids come in contact with it. This causes a release of low-energy voltage, which then signals a patch worn on your skin and then sends the data to an app on your doctor's mobile phone or tablet. It sounds freaky, but according to the stats, it's kind of necessary. Yeah, apparently about 50% of all people don't take their meds correctly. Researchers say the microchip can help docs curb the issue by keeping accurate digital records of a patient's drug intake. Of course, this also means you should think twice before pawning your painkillers for an extra buck. Just saying. Just one day after we found that all American flags on the moon have been bleached white, China has released plans to make its first moon landing. Yeah, the country tested a new liquid oxygen and kerosene rocket engine last Sunday, which will power future missions, including an unmanned rocket slated to launch in 2013. China hopes to follow up with landing a man on the moon in the future. But prior to now, that's only been achieved by the United States. Stop stealing our thunder, China. Yeah! And finally, the nation's employees might be getting a bit too excited about the summer games. Researchers say distracted workers are costing U.S. companies upwards of $650 million. And the Olympics are to blame. Now, it may sound unpatriotic, but hold your judgments and listen to the facts. In Los Angeles, the issue came to a head when city employees tuned into NBC's online coverage in such great numbers that it reportedly overloaded the city's computer system. Not only did the hogged bandwidth slow down city operations, but it infuriated a few councilmen when they learned that employees were watching the sporting event on taxpayers' dime. Now, this is hard because on one hand, I want everyone to enjoy the world's greatest sporting event. But on the other hand, our economy is bad enough without workers getting distracted by the dressage quarterfinals. So my personal plea to the nation is this: do your job. That is what DVR is for, okay? I'm Sarah Underwood. You have just been fed. Still ahead, things are about to get badass in here. Michael Jai White from Black Dynamite will join us live.
You are prepared for Black Dynamite.
What is it, Black Dynamite?
Nothing. I'm fine.
You need me to get you something?
Nah, Mama, I'm okay.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, it's all...
Is there something I can get you?
Damn it, I already told the second bitch no.
Sir, welcome, Michael Jai White, writer, star of Black Dynamite. Really good to have you here, man.
It was
really
good to be here, man.
I was a fan of the live action. You have the animated series out now. When the live one came out, it surprised a lot of people and blew up as a cult hit. Were you surprised? What were your expectations?
Well, I mean, originally we were hoping for a larger opening, but you know, it's funny how some studios don't know how to market a film like that. Yeah. But I was happy that it eventually found its audience.
What I like about it especially, it deals with race in a bold, comedic way. We are both men of a certain race.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Irish.
tell me about, the period you chose, why blaxploitation, why the 70s. A lot of people think bell bottoms, afros, and disco. What else in the 70s
Man,
kinda
I
caught
just
you?
dug the 70s. The 70s to me is the best time for movies, music. I mean, people had their own voice, and music didn't sound all the same. And it was politically charged. You were coming back from Vietnam and all the distrust of government and all that kind of stuff. It was just hot. It was just a hot time. It was a sexual revolution, all of that.
Right.
So I mean, and then the fashion. It's such a sexy time. Anytime, and anytime you even see something on a commercial or whatever that if they're trying to be sexy, they play 70s type of music.
Yeah.
And they have some fake Barry White talking. You know what I mean? So it's like
I know exactly
just
what
to
you
me.
mean, Michael. I know exactly what you mean.
Right on. Yeah. But but I mean, it's just to me, I just dug that decade.
I'm actually just remembering a photo that my mom had, one of her best friends at the time. He had blue and white polyester pants, a white polyester shirt with a flare collar, massive afro, and his name was El Dorado. Like the car. So, Black Dynamite is definitely a badass. He has all sorts of kung fu and karate. You yourself have 7 black belts, I've read. Can you talk about all of your talents outside of writing this show?
Well, yeah, I've been doing martial arts ever since I was a kid.
Okay.
I didn't get in it for any kind of, I don't know, like glorious reasons. I had a lot of angst and I like to fight a lot, and I wouldn't have to get in trouble if I did it in the karate school.
Okay.
So I had issues.
Sanctioned fighting.
I had issues, but along with my trek, I found the true principles of martial arts, and it calmed my ass down a little bit.
Yeah. Have you ever had to use it to defend yourself or anybody else?
Oh, yeah, I've done it. I'm not going to be all, virtuous. And there were times where I just looked to use it, when I was a kid,
So you just stare somebody down, just start doing a little bit
I wanted
of
an
this?
excuse. I mean, I used to wear weird clothes just to get people to say something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you were trying to provoke a fight.
Yeah,
That is not in line with the principles of any martial arts.
It wasn't, no, master. It was not. I wanted to practice that stuff I was practicing.
Yeah.
So
you want to use it.
To be honest with you, but so I used to seek out bullies all the time. Anybody who thought they could fight, I'd be looking at that guy.
You're like a little vigilante.
I was the first Dexter.
Okay now.
Yeah.
You heard him say it.
Yeah.
What about your size? You're pretty strong, big dude. You ever use that to your advantage?
That's where my confidence came from. Because I mean, I was at 13, I was already 6 foot tall, and plus I was big.
Whoa.
And I had Japanese karate instructors who came straight from Japan. And in my karate school, you only spoke Japanese.
Right.
So these instructors who were shorter than me mistook me for an adult. And I was in the adult classes all the time. And so I was fighting against grown men and winning. And so, nobody my age I was worried about, So
He's just hanging out outside the prison like, yo, what you want to do? What you want to do? I'm ready.
that twists your mind up being a youngster, So I'm like, I'll take you out, mister, And so,
But then you say mister, and it just undermines your whole street cred.
Yeah, but it was a crazy time, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Now, I know you've got your body right. You also have to get your mind right to do this, and you're really into chess. Can you tell me about you, chess, and Jim Brown?
Oh yeah, well Jim Brown is really like a surrogate dad to me. I mean, I looked up to that guy ever since I was a little kid, and it was part of it's all kind of related because I would see people like Jim Brown and Fred Williamson in movies, and I said I want to be like that, And then I grew up later to befriend Jim because we did a lot of community type services.
Okay.
He was deeply into that.
Yeah.
That's where we first started working together, and then we just became close. And actually, a lot of my Black Dynamite character is based off of Jim Brown.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he know that?
Oh yeah, he knows that. In fact, the first copy of Black Dynamite I had on a DVD disc. I went over to Jim Brown's house and we watched it in his theater room. And when he loved it, he said he loved it, and I was just so happy. That's like pleasing your dad.
You're set. You can retire from that.
Yeah. So that was nobody could tell me anything after that.
One last quick question. Last time you were here, you talked about a Black Dynamite sequel. What's the status of that?
Well, okay. hopefully we'll be getting that done soon.
Okay.
It's, you know, schedule, yeah. So the cartoon's been doing really well, and that you know, boosts the credibility of another live action really well. And there's a lot of fun things I'd like to do on the second movie that I didn't get a chance to do on the first one.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jai White, thank you so much. Black Dynamite, the animated series, airs on Sunday nights on Adult Swim. Thanks, man. Now to you, Sarah. Now to you.
It's time to attack this stuff you control. Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to be king of the world of drifting? Yeah, well, now you can with Hot Wheels Ken Block Gymkhana Rally Car. When it comes to RC cars, we've all tried to drift them around obstacles without much success. But with Ken Block's RC car, drifting is easier and much more fun. Use the underside drift wheel to turn everything into an obstacle and take on any ramp that gets in your way. Grab yourself a replica drift machine and claim the throne of Gymkhana for around $45. Yeah. Remote control airplanes are great for stunts and chasing your neighbors. And with the Spyhawk RC plane, you can capture it all on video. Yeah, that's right. The Spyhawk actually records video in flight, and better yet, transmits the signal directly to your RC controller's LCD screen. With about 20 minutes of flight time, off a single charge, you'll be airborne for about as long as the Hindenburg. And Spyhawk's made of super sturdy plastic, so don't worry about crashing. Your $390 investment, it should last you a while. And finally, when you're bored at home channel surfing, this remote will make you forget you're trying to find something good on TV. Why, you ask? Well, because it's a Chimera Magic Wand Universal Remote. Change the channel, fast forward, or freeze frame with a flick of a wand. Dubbed the world's first real magic wand, the motion-sensitive, buttonless magic stick actually learns from your IR remotes. So no need to sit there and program codes. Make Dumbledore proud by mastering your devices for around $80. Stay tuned. Our critics will tell you what to watch, including a cult vampire film from 1985 starring Jean-Luc Picard before they made him captain. Uh-oh, you're at a movie and you have to hit the bathroom, but you don't want to miss anything good. Now you don't have to thanks to the RunPee app. This is the perfect guide to when you should go about your business. The app gives you multiple cues as to when it's safe to run out and how long you have until something interesting happens. It'll even give you the line of dialogue you can use as your cue to go, and you can use the built-in timer to make sure you don't miss that next fight scene. Are you still worried you missed something awesome? Well, the app will give you a detailed summary of what happened during your quick trip. The RunPee app is updated weekly with all the latest films out and even has a list of classics if you need a bathroom break during your home viewing. Never miss that amazing scene again thanks to the RunPee app. Available for free on the iTunes and Android app stores.
Hey, RunPee that. Forget about cable and DVD. It's time to stream, baby. Please welcome senior writer for Entertainment Weekly, Anthony Breznican. That's it, thank you. Thank you. I got to skip all that. And we have Devin Faraci from Badass Digest. Welcome, sir. Sometimes just got to skip away with all that stuff. I am excited. So I wrote this book called How to Be Black, and people send me all their black stuff now. They're like, oh, there's a black thing on the internet. Here you go. And so someone sent me this web series called Brothers with No Game. And it's basically the opposite of Black Dynamite. Like, that, you know, they are not good in bed. They don't know how to talk to women. And they undermine the myth of, like, the sexually, awesome black dude all the time. I loved it because of that. What did you guys think of this series?
After you. Well, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really funny and really honest. I don't know why you'd want to undermine that particular myth. I would be, as an Italian, there are certain myths that I really cherish about my people.
Embrace it. Own the myth. You raised a good point.
It's so human and funny. So.
What about you?
Yeah, I thought it was great, but also it's very British as well, right? It's not just about black culture, but it's very much about being a young British guy.
That's true.
And I thought it was fascinating because you know the lame ass guy, the needy guy, that's a real quality. I won't pretend that that wasn't a part of my life growing up.
I like how you use the past tense.
Yeah.
though.
No,
You compare
no.
far beyond that, right?
I hope I have some game now, but no, you know, back in the, you know, when you're young, you're not sure of yourself, just getting your place in the world. That's
Yeah.
where these guys are,
Yeah.
and I think there's a lot to relate to, no matter what hue your skin color happens to be.
They chose an interesting model to try to finance this. I don't know how hard they had tried to go through a traditional system, but they crowdsourced it and crowdfunded, the platform. Do you guys think that is necessary for a film like this? Do you see this being a greater trend for web series?
It's super weird because watching this, it was really commercial. I could see this being on television, and in fact, the fact that it wasn't, that it was just a YouTube crowd-funded thing, kind of struck me as odd. I don't know if it's because it's there's this thing about having a black show that maybe they feel like it's difficult to get funding, which is kind of a pity because this is, as a honky, I felt that I was very much there was nothing.
I can leave now.
There was nothing so explicitly where I'm like, oh, I don't understand that whatsoever.
Well, yeah. But also, I think as more and more people find this, you as the curator now of black culture can begin sharing it with people. But you introduced it to Devin and you introduced it to me. But I think as more and more people find this, I would not be surprised to see the BBC pick this up as a potential series for them, and then there'll be an Americanized version of it a few years later, and who knows what that'll be. But I can say, they might say like, well, do they have to be black?
Exactly. They have to be brothers. They have to be brothers with no game.
We'll just call it no game. And can they have some game?
I can see them.
Right?
I have to have no game, brothers. I don't have game.
And then it's like, then it becomes Black Dynamite.
We gotta get Michael back up in here. So that was it for Brothers with No Game. Next up, Devin, we have Life Force, which just hit Netflix streaming. Do you think this is something people need to see?
I think people need to see it for themselves. Yeah, I think, as you can sort of see, Life Force is this 1985 science fiction movie from Tobe Hooper, who directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is what he did right after Poltergeist. It's this insane, strange space vampire movie where the main...
I'm sorry, space vampire.
They come to Earth and
that's
attack...
two awesome things.
Well, it gets even more awesome because the main space vampire is naked the entire motion picture, and she is probably the ultimate physical specimen, Matilda May, who is incredible looking.
Wow. Okay.
In 1985, I was like 12 years old, and this was really important. This was...
When you have no game.
Exactly.
That's very important.
This was a seminal moment and a seminal moment in my upbringing.
Really?
I know, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of effects in this that do not hold up. I mean, they they not only look 30 years old, they look maybe 40 or 50 years old.
Okay.
But I will say, Matilda May, yes, a very beautiful young lady. She's naked in the whole movie.
That's not her. What you're looking at right now.
That's not her.
That is not her.
What kind of taste do you have?
But that is a special effect that does not get old.
All right.
But a special effect that does work.
Except in real life.
Is still Patrick Stewart. This is a pre-Jean-Luc Picard.
That's right.
He is fighting off the space vampires in this one in all of his bald glory, looking exactly the same in 1985 as he does in
Maybe he's the
2012.
vampire.
Well, you know what? I don't want to.
You're onto something.
Legally, I can't say that. But
Finally, Anthony, you're a big fan of Marvel's new animated series, the All Winter Squad. This doesn't seem like a conventional superhero cartoon.
It is, it's not.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like imagine. I mean, the title is a complete misnomer. This is the All Winners Squad. It should be called the All Losers Squad. These are the characters that you will never see turned into a feature film. You have people like Squirrel Girl right there on your screen.
Squirrel Girl.
Yeah. The Hypno Hustler there with his guitar, and you have Paste Pot Pete. Somebody I know a lot. There's Paste Pot Pete. There's Ruby Thursday, who's like this beautiful Matilda May-esque superheroine who has curves in all the right place except on her head, which is just a red orb.
so
bizarre.
It's all curves.
It's all curves up there. So like what I love about this is that Marvel is so protective of their characters, right? They have this amazing franchise going theatrically. They're very protective of how they depict them in cartoons and everything, every format. And this, they just said, which are our worst characters? Let's take those and just throw them on the funeral pyre, and we'll all dance around. It's hilarious.
Can I say, as a real nerd, as a Marvel nerd, I'm offended to see Hypno Hustler on this team. He's a bad guy. And, and so is Paste Pot Pete, and I really think that breaking the continuity like that is a big problem. All right?
Maybe they're seeking a little redemption. They're the best of the worst.
Yeah.
The best of the worst.
Is this going to be a new trend of going further into the alternative universe within the comic book
I mean,
world?
now that Marvel is sort of owned by Disney, all these things are open to them. They have all these characters. You can't make a movie out of everybody, even if you wanted to. And there's all these different ways of going about it. With the new Avengers Blu-ray, they have this 12-minute short. I think they're going to start seeing more of that kind of stuff. Short films that are attached to their Blu-rays, more direct-to-video stuff, more of these strange. This is sort of like an Adult Swim feel. This cartoon has.
It's a little tame though because it is still Disney. I don't know that they're ever going to fully go there with the weirdness. I hope they do.
Yeah. Disney, get weirder.
Get weirder.
Thank you both for coming. Also, thank you for your names, Devin Faraci, Anthony Bresnikamp.
The most difficult to pronounce panel.
Yeah. And now, still ahead. Now and still ahead. Our epic fail is heading to Russia in just a moment.
Miss the glory days of free-to-play, web-based Flash games? Then you'll want to check out Happy Wheels, a mindlessly amusing, blood-splattered obstacle course game. The concept isn't too complicated. Choose a level, a character, and make it from point A to point B, in one piece, that is. While that may sound easy, it's sort of like relearning to ride a really, really awkward bike. The physics-based mechanics are reminiscent of QWOP, and riding that bike or lawnmower isn't as easy as one might think. Flub things badly enough and watch the blood spill and body parts fly. There's a ton of levels to choose from with a variety of obstacles that'll get in your way, or brutally murder you, like spike strips or a harpoon. So head to TotalJerkface.com and let the carnage begin. Tomorrow on Attack of the Show. The Doctor is in. The man, the myth, the legend, David Tennant drops by to reflect on his legacy as Doctor Who and to have some green screen fun. And Grace Helbig snaps on her fundraising pin when she chats up Will Ferrell, Zach Galifianakis, and the cast of The Campaign. Time for today's epic fail. Now, most people have to be liars before their pants catch on fire.
Meanwhile, in Russia.
Wardrobe choices, you know? Flame retardant jacket, super flammable pants.
Fail those hot pants. No.
Hey, let's check out our Twitter wall.
Yes, let's do it.
What do we got? MW Maori, what would the Saratunde Squad's superpowers be?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, good question. What do you think?
Infinite capacity for whiskey.
That would be just you. I really like horses.
Nice.
So, like, maybe I could be a centaur.
Excellent.
See that? And then
yes.
you could ride me around.
I'm not going to protest that. I am not going to protest that at all.
Benny, don't look at me like that. Ride me around.
Oh,
that sounds bad
my
too.
God. No.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, what else we got? We have
WWE Sonic Man. Can we do Saratunde again? I missed it already.
Yes.
You don't have to miss it.
Keep doing it.
You know
it's not
what?
going anywhere.
We're going to be here tomorrow.
Yes. All week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody. To Michael Jai White, Devin Faraci, Anthony Bresnikamp, John Bradley, and Tiffany Smith.
Yes. And good night to you. And see you tomorrow.